How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. With the cryptocurrency market really exploding over the last day, a lot of people are wondering how much money they need to make a lot of money by the end of the year or the end of this bull run. Whether we are talking about $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, $10 million, we are going to look at it here today, look at why people are so excited, but then more importantly, giving some different numbers and figuring out how much money we really need in the market to become really wealthy, depending on what your goal is. So I've laid out the numbers. This is going to be a fun video. This is going to be one of those ones that gets you really excited about the space. Now, with that being said, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a crypto or stock analyst or anything like that. I'm just someone that watches the markets. So of course, always exercise your own level of caution. Of course, always do your own research. So if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, that does help out the channel. Also check out the link underneath the video to BlockFi, who just raised some of their rates for their cryptocurrencies. You can get bonus with the link underneath the video. So we have Ethereum pumping up to about 3,300, Bitcoin pumping up to about almost 48,000 in the last 24 hours. So a lot of excitement is coming into the space. Now, why is this happening? Well, first of all, Jerome Powell said that the government does not have any plans on banning Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. Also, we have potential for a Bitcoin ETF here in the next month. There have been some whispers from Coinbase and also from Bloomberg about this possibly happening very soon. We also have Fidelity surveys that said that 52% of institutional respondents said that they invest in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and 9 out of 10 find those assets appealing. We also have other companies like Morgan Stanley, they're increasing their exposure to Bitcoin by 100%. They might not be buying Bitcoin itself, but they are increasing exposure. We also have companies like TikTok that are actually starting NFT collections. We also have Twitter, which is getting into Bitcoin tipping and further pushing into NFTs, verifying NFTs on their platform for profile pictures. So there's a lot of excitement from large companies. There's a lot of excitement from the retail space. A lot of people want to get in on crypto. So like I said, how much money do you need? Well, of course, we have to take some assumptions into play here. I'll walk you through the assumptions. I'm also going to have a somewhat risk-averse portfolio. The reason I say that is a lot of people that are getting into the space probably shouldn't invest in some of these smallest cryptocurrencies. It probably isn't wise because they don't understand how they work or how the emotions work or how whales work. So we're going to assume that you are in five of the largest projects: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, BNB, and Solana. These are in the top projects. I'm not going to include XRP onto this list just because it is very volatile depending on the case with the government. So I'm not going to include that. We have Bitcoin, which is the leader of the pack. We have Ethereum, which is the leader of the different protocols. And then we have Cardano, BNB, and Solana, which all have their own merits, coming in a little bit lower. So Bitcoin, we're going to assume, is 40% of the portfolio. It's really going to weigh down the portfolio. Ethereum is going to be 30%. So a little bit more upside there in Ethereum versus Bitcoin if we're talking about a blow off top. But you have to realize that Cardano, BNB, Solana will probably do better than Ethereum or than Bitcoin if we do get a lot of money flowing in. But with that being said, we are going to limit our downside potential. So we're only going to put 10% into Cardano, 10% BNB, and 10% in Solana. Now, of course, you can do it however you want. I'm just talking from kind of a risk reward standpoint. That is a little bit lower risk, a little bit lower reward, but again, lower risk. So we're going to assume that we take today's prices, today's market cap, and by the end of the year, we're assuming $146,000 for Bitcoin. Now, where did I get this price? Well, it's about 1/4 the price of gold's market cap. Also, a lot of people are saying that they think Bitcoin will be between 100,000 and 200,000. So it's right in between there. And honestly, it's just about a 3x from here. So it's not that crazy to think that we might see a 3x with a Bitcoin ETF or with other companies possibly buying in, retail buying in after on the FOMO. With that being said, we're going to assume that Ethereum does 7/5 as well as Bitcoin. Now, this is what they've done historically in the past. This is what Ethereum's done. It's moved up a little bit more than Bitcoin when Bitcoin pumps. So historically, that's been the case. We don't know what's going to happen going forward, but assuming Ethereum gets about a 7/5 increase, so again, a little bit more, we're going to assume that it goes a little bit higher than a 4x from here, and it goes to 14,000. And then we're going to say that Cardano, BNB, Solana all make the same moves. Now, like I said earlier, they probably will move even more than Ethereum, but we're gonna be a little bit conservative because this is kind of a bullish scenario. I mean, we're talking about 3x's on Bitcoin in 3 or 4 months. Now, maybe it doesn't happen right at the end of the year. Maybe it happens in the first couple months of next year. Or maybe there is no bear market anymore and there's just little dips and little increases throughout the rest of time because there's so much adoption. We don't know, but again, you can make whatever assumptions you want. I'm just gonna put these in here. So we see about a little bit more than a 4x in Cardano, BNB, and Solana also. So let's say you have $10,000 to invest in this portfolio. You're gonna put 4,000 in Bitcoin, 3,000 in Ethereum, 1,000 in the other 3 cryptos here. And then what do you get out of that? Well, let's say we see these numbers by the end of the year. Let's say that we put in this amount, or we put in buys at this amount for the price. If we put $10,000 in, the $4,000 in Bitcoin would turn into just over $12,000. Ethereum would turn into almost $13,000, and then $4,300 for these other 3 cryptos. Now, the total is about $38,000. That's a huge amount. Great return, about a 3.8x on our investment, 280% return on our investment. The yield, because I do assume we would actually get interest back because you can stake BNB, you can get interest on a lot of these other cryptocurrencies like on BlockFi or other protocols or other websites. Let's say you can get 5% return, which I think would definitely be possible. You could get around $1,900 a year. So that's a great amount. I mean, the yield on cost is about 19% then. If you put in $10,000 and you're getting $1,900 out, the yield per month would be about $160. The total invested is only $10,000. So to actually get that $38,000, if you put that $4,000 in, you would only need about 0.08 Bitcoin. That's how much you would get from that $4,000 right now. Less than 1 Ethereum, about 450 Cardano, 2.4 BNB, and 6.37 Solana. So if you have more than that now, you're already a little bit ahead of the curve if you're looking at this scenario. But let's say you need $10,000 instead of you are putting $10,000 in, right? You want to get to a $10,000 portfolio in crypto. Well, you would need to put in about $1,000 into Bitcoin, about just under $800 into Ethereum, $263 in Cardano, Solana, and BNB. And then you would get this amount out. So total would be about $10,000. The yield would be about $500 throughout the year, about $42 a month. The total invested would be $2,625. So this would buy you, this $1,000 would buy you 0.02 Bitcoin, 0.24 Ethereum. So you can go down the line here. If you're already past those numbers, let's say you have 0.3 Bitcoin, then you're already past this. So you would have more than the $10,000, assuming you have all these. Now, of course, we're just throwing numbers out there. We're just taking a situation and seeing how much money we would make from it. But let's say you want to have $100,000 in crypto by the end of the year. Okay, you need $10,000 in Bitcoin, $8,000 in Ethereum, $2,600 in these 3 cryptos. By the end, you would have about $32,000 in Bitcoin, $34,000 in Ethereum. You can go down the line, you'd have about $100,000, which would yield you about $416 a month. Total invested, only $26,250. And then this is how much you would actually get from this amount over here. So you get about 0.22 Bitcoin, 2.4 Ethereum, 1,100 Cardano. Now, we're going to go into the last scenario. Let's say you want $1 million in crypto by the end of the year. This is how much you have to put in. It's actually a pretty significant amount. It works out to about $262,500. Works out to be about 2.2 Bitcoin, 24 Ethereum, about 12,000 Cardano, 63 BNB, and 167 Solana. Now, of course, we can throw in whatever numbers we want. In this scenario, it would make more sense to throw more money in Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, stuff like that, because it is going to yield better results. But we don't have any way of knowing what's going to win out in the end. You know, is Cardano, is BNB, is Solana, are those going to be the Ethereum killers? We don't know which one will do really well. We don't know which ones will stay stagnant for a while. So that's why I put a little bit of allocation towards each of them. Of course, though, you can always run your own numbers. I think this is an interesting thing to look at, though. I mean, I would not invest based on these numbers because anything can happen, right? We take it day by day. That's why I do daily videos, because so much changes in a day. So we have to look big picture. We also have to look at what's happening now. I do think diversification is important, and I think it is fun. I think it is fun and probably good to take a look at some of these numbers sometimes, because it does probably keep our head on a little bit straighter when we do see some dips in the market, because if you actually see a dip in the market, let's say all of a sudden Bitcoin falls to 40,000, well, it's a lot easier to get higher numbers if you're basing it on the same end of year predictions. But try not to get too greedy. It's easy to look at this and think, oh, I need to throw in a lot of money, but also remember there could be dips in the future. So always weigh your risk reward. This is still only part of my overall portfolio of real estate, of stocks, of crypto. So always do your own research. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for hitting the like button and the subscribe button. Check out the link underneath the video to BlockFi to get an interest rate on your cryptocurrencies, and I will see you guys in the next video.